So, hey everybody. I have just gotten an epiphany that I felt it was even too important to say, just record it, because normally I record myself. Normally when I get my epiphanies or revelations, I'll just put it on my little voice recorder and then I'll go back and review it. But this is too important, you guys. So I need you to, I'm on some rough terrain right now, y'all, but I need you to listen to me and I need you to share this as quickly as possible before they take it down, because the way that this system is set up, anytime we speak against anything that goes against the current agenda, we're flagged as being somehow a dissident or a disruption or something that they can justify shutting us down. But I just thought about this. So let us just go. I'm not a politic type of person, to be honest with you, but it just really came to me so easily. Okay, so remember, we are the United States, right? Well, we're really America, and it's not even America, but I don't even have time to go into that right now because that's not the focal point of what I want to get at. We are considered the United States of America, right? Now, think about this right here. I'm not saying that any of the politicians out there are actually better than any of the others, because I think they are all the same. However, what I will say is that at least the white American community have an allegiance to the United States. The white American community has a vested interest in the United States. I'm going to tell you who does not have a vested interest in the United States. Anybody who does not originate from here or who hasn't been here living in these lands for at least the last 300 or 400 years. They don't have an allegiance to this place because they don't come from here. Their family and their ties are connected to their lands. So when you bring in over a bunch of people from different lands into the Americas, what's going on is that they now become the new population. And of course, when you have a foreign entity that comes onto your new soil, what do they need to do, or what do they want to do? They want to conquer it and colonize it so they can bring their family and the people they want to bring. So what makes you think that that's not going to potentially be a situation as we have it today? The more people you bring in from outside of the continents that's called North and South America, you're literally allowing potential takeovers. And if we don't have any military or soldiers here to protect us because we're deploying them all out to other places, who's going to protect us when they come up in arms and come against us, right? So let me ask you this right here. Who's benefiting right now in the election where they are actually allowing and flooding in people from other lands? Who's benefiting right now? The current politicians that are running for presidency. We have, on one hand, we have Trump, who is originally a German, but at least the Germans have been here long enough to where they have a vested interest, and that's just what it is. I don't care what nobody say, they're all connected. The English and the Germans are the same, okay? But you have Kamala and her running buddy, right, who are, they represent people from other lands. So if they come into office, then guess who's going to really bring in and flood in more? Because they have the control at that point. I'm not saying that I'm a hater against the sister, because at the end of the day, she already made it very clear that she's not one of us. So I don't have any allegiance to her in that regard. But think about this. We all know, as the dark-skinned community, that she's not the right person to lead our nation anyways. At least Trump is a businessman, and he's gonna want to do things to put us in a financial position, a better financial position. Her and her team, all they're trying to do is get in office so they can flood in more people from other lands. And think about this right here. Her running mate is, no offense to the Asian community, because I love everybody, but her running mate is an Asian man. And she is technically, her family is from Asia, because India is in Asia, and she already said that her mother is from Asia, right? So she has more of a vested interest to bring more people from that landmass over here. I'm just saying. And if she is somehow eliminated because she's a woman of color, and who's gonna come into place after her but her vice president, right? And her vice president happens to be an Asian guy who is providing us with all of our, or 90% of our imports that we get, the Asian community, the Chinese community. So once they get into office, I already know we're no longer going to be able to argue the American or the United States Constitution in any kind of way, because they don't have an allegiance to the United States Constitution. They don't have an allegiance to honor, they don't have a reason to honor the contract that was put into place that's supposed to actually protect us as a people, not as a color skin, as the people of the lands, right? And even though the white American society kind of did veer off of that a little bit, but at least you still had the relics that were there holding it together, at least, you know, doing their part to hold it as much as possible. But once we get total foreigners that are running our government, the United States Constitution is out the door. We won't have none of that anymore. They're going to create and bring in their own rules and laws. And if you know anything about the Chinese or the Asian cultures, they're very, very strict. So the American freedoms that you were able to afford before, going to be out the window as soon as the Asian dude get in the office. He don't have an allegiance to us as a people. He doesn't have an allegiance to us as natives of the land. So again, the choice should be obvious. And to be honest with you, you don't even have to, you know, take my word for it. Do your own due diligence. Think about it. Just think for a minute. If we have a black woman, she's not black, but if we have a woman of color in office, and we have there are very much proof that we have a lot of still racism-minded peoples out there, even though it's not good. I don't condone it in any kind of way, but somebody might try to assassinate her just because she's a woman of color. No man, no white American man is going to want to have their country ran by a black woman. I'm telling you now, not in the cards. But if she's being backed by the Asian community, which is why she wants to give so much money to the Ukrainians, right? If she's willing to give $38 billion or something like that to Ukraine if she comes in office, what do you think they're going to give in return but the people? They're going to ship more people here. So the United States become little Ukrainian, or little Ukraine. Again, I'm not racist. I love everybody all over the world. And if I felt that everybody would be treated equally no matter what, that's different. However, from history, what history has taught us is that the majority rules. So however many of that particular community is here, and they start cheating and making it to where they can actually vote, guess what? It don't even matter. Even if you thought your vote count now, it really isn't going to count when we have couple million new foreign citizens in our land. So instead of sitting here focusing on how you can badmouth one another in the politics world, why don't we think about that? Let's get critical thinking involved now. Unless they already sold us out and now they're just making the gradual change without we as the people recognizing, because at the end of the day, we're technically financially indebted to the Asian community, so-called China. I mean, think about it. Why do we have 90% or more of our products and things coming from there if they didn't have a major stake in this land, right? Maybe the white American community got everything that they could, and now they're passing the buck on to the next peoples to keep us suppressed. And again, it's not a racist thing. It's the truth. It's facts. It's facts. This land that we live in and on as people of color, this is our land. But there have been an influx of people who don't look like us who's taken over. When you go to these different government agencies and you're getting, going for jobs and things, you're being viewed and interviewed and things by the very people who got shipped over here from other places. Why are they working? How is it that they're working and there's so many people who look like us that are struggling? How is it that they are in houses and homes and have documented income assistance from our federal government when we as the indigenous peoples of the land are sitting here struggling to keep a roof over our heads? We got to live with other people. We got to a lot of people are working and have jobs and living in their cars. Okay, so this is a serious thing, and yet they're trying to bring more people in. If you've never been downtown LA, oh my gosh, downtown Los Angeles looks very bad. There's a lot of people down there who are homeless, not just downtown, because ever since the pandemic hit, all of a sudden we have so many more homeless people. So why is it that we have all these homeless people? People are on the street struggling. Their mental condition has declined because they aren't getting proper help, and yet they're bringing in new people into the lands. What's the purpose of that unless they just wanted to flood us all out, right? Again, this has nothing to do with no racism thing, because first of all, you can only be racist against another race. If we're all supposed to be a part of the same human race, how are you going to be racist against another human? Don't make sense. I don't care what the skin tone is. So let's get that out the way. It's not about a gender thing, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are all one and the same. It don't matter. We are all one and the same. We come from the same, creator, even if it's derivatives of the initial original creator. Still, we all come from that, okay? So get all of that out the way and think about the fact that if you don't have another place to go, if you don't have nobody else to have your back, and you know for a fact that the people that are currently running is not going to make that any better, why would you sit and vote for anybody who's not willing to make sure that you are taken care of and looked out for first? Why aren't they talking about correcting and fixing the things that are going on right here on our own lands? Instead, they're shipping off all of our fighters and all of our warriors away from us so that we're not protected. That's not good business. Not good business at all. You know who it's good business for? Anybody who's looking to take over a land, right? Because they've made it to where we're sitting ducks. We can literally be plucked off at any time if they wanted to. Why would you want to put somebody who could potentially become an enemy in a position of power over you? They already have a certain level of power if they are in office in any capacity in that way. So why in the world would you want to allow people who have no allegiance to the Americas to run our land, to run our government, to run our system? It's going to all change. If the people from the land of Asia who are currently running gets in office, we won't have the same freedoms that you think you have right now. We don't even have that many freedoms as it is right now. It's been taken over little by little, but you're really not going to have no freedoms, if those people get in office. And I'm talking the white Americans too. You guys are at risk as well, because just because you think your skin color is white, like as if that's going to protect you, you're talking about going against a person who is 50% from India and 50% from Jamaica. They don't have no love for you as a white American. Not that they're going to do anything to hurt you or harm you directly, but I'm just saying they're not going to do anything to help you. So you're going to fall into the same category as the very people you were looking down on, right? You know what I'm saying? Thinking that you had some status, but when these foreigners take over, your status is going to be gone. Because the new people who are going to have status are the people who are from the countries that they're from. I'm just saying. Again, this is not about politics. This is not about hate. This is not about race. This is about self-preservation. And if people of color who identify themselves as Black American have any inkling of desire to preserve what the little that they do have, you're going to get and do something about making sure that we don't have this outcome that is looking like it's going to happen. Think about it. Miss Harris somehow got backing that she shouldn't have, to be honest with you, because who would support her in that way, especially if it's not the people of color? Because the people of color have seen her and been on the receiving end of her, lashes out against the Black American community. She don't like the Black American community. She looks at the Black American community as a problem, as something that is okay to diminish and get rid of. So of course now, because she's running, now she's the homegirl, but we already know what that's about. As a matter of fact, she's making herself look even more foolish with the shenanigans that she's been doing with the concerts and things, and the reaching out and trying to get the young population, Gen Z, to be, voting. They don't care. Gen Z don't care. But if they can bribe them and things of that nature, they'll do it just because their favorite icons in the music industry are doing it. It's so sad and it's really crazy. But I'm just saying, listen, you guys, if you don't listen to anything else, take heed and think about yourself and your families. I am not here to promote any side when it comes to the politics thing. I'm not here to promote anything that has to do with hate in any kind of way, because we should all be able to coexist and live together, love each other and everything, as long as we are all treated equally. But that's not the case. So if that's the case and we're not being treated equally, why bring in another class of peoples? Because at the end of the day, where are those people going to go? Do they go to the bottom of the list of the classes, right? Or do they get put above people who, are identified as low class right now? I don't know. What I will say is that you lessen your chances even more by putting somebody in office that does not have an allegiance to the American continent, to the laws and things that were put in place to help protect us in a way to where they haven't gone super crazy, but they have at the same time. I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day, but just think, use your brains. That's what we were given the ability to think for. We're not the straw men. I mean, we're not the scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, you guys. We have a brain, all right? We're not the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. We actually have a heart. We are not the cowardly lions that they try to make us out to be. We do have fight in us. It's just a matter of knowing what it is that you want to fight for. What is it that you're willing to fight for, okay? At the end of the day, you got to be willing to fight for something, or you will basically fall for anything. Stand for something or fall for anything. And trust me when I tell you, if you haven't paid attention to nothing else, look at the military history of the different cultures around the world. Okay, look at the military history, because one of the things that I've realized, even if it's just something that they put on TV to scare us, but the military on the east, right, that on the east coast of the Asian continent, they believe in lining their victims up and, basically until everybody's gone. Now, I'm not saying that we haven't done that in our military to others. I don't know. I really don't know. I've never been in that predicament in the Army or anything to know how that works. But what I will say is, again, if you go to any land and, whoever's in charge, they not going to just let somebody from another place take over unless it's a hostile type of thing. So if we, again, are letting foreigners basically come in who have no allegiance, who have no history connection to our lands, if you don't think that that's in a part of their, plan, I'm so sorry for you. And those who have all, been forced or bullied into getting injected with poisons that basically jack your brains up and jack your system up and take the fight out of you, I'm so sorry. But, if you have even an ounce of being able to think for yourself, don't support anybody who's not going to support you. Don't support anybody who's not openly willing to support you. At least the Trump guy, at least he's been doing things and showing in his actions and things that he's willing to help and support, us, even if it's, might not look like it to everybody else, but I've seen more and heard more about what he's done for the indigenous community than the people he's running against. That's all I'm saying. And again, I'm not for any politician that is against equality for everybody anyways, but what I will say is that if you have to go with the lesser of two evils, support the one at least that still has a tie and connection and a desire to make our country great. Forget about the Make America Great Again. How about Make America Great? Right, we can do that with the right types of leaders in office and in place, not clowns, not, people who are just putting on a show and then doing something else. I'm talking about people who actually look at this place as something that they can actually turn into a financial, success. That's what you want, because you're going to be a part of it. If America's going to be great and you live in America, guess what? You're going to be in a position to help be a part of making America great. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Think about it like that. You will have a shot at, some type of ability to peacefully mobilize, of course, but in a way to where you can still do things to help yourself. But again, if you are taken over and ruled by those who could care less about you and your freedoms and your constitutional laws and things, you're not going to even have a chance to do that. Okay, the Constitution is going to go out the window because the people did not make a constitutional contract with the Republic of China or the Republic of India. They didn't make a agreement with them. And then there's this lady, older white lady. Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right now, but she was just on, I think I had posted something about what she was saying about the United Nations, literally the World Health Organization and all of them. They're coming together and they're trying to make this pact, or I guess they passed it or whatever, right under our noses while we're sitting here looking at the wrong things. They done passed some stuff that basically is trying to turn us into a one world type of thing where they are the rulers. It's like 190 something of them, where they pretty much control everything and everybody. And if people like myself start talking like I'm talking right now, forget just being banned or suspended, even though I'm not saying anything wrong. Other people say what I say or worse, but forget about that. They're talking about shutting down your bank accounts and your credit cards and your ability to shop and get services or travel even, or get on a plane or a bus or whatever, anything public. You're going to be able to be controlled that way. And they're going to be remote. You're not going to know where they are. You're not going to be able to pinpoint them. This is going to be like that movie V for Vendetta. If you haven't seen that movie V for Vendetta, you guys, go check it out, because that movie is based in the UK, right? So it makes it look like, oh, that's way over there and it's a movie. But no, if we continue down the road, we're continuing on, it's going to get that bad. I have remedy. I have answers. I have solutions. I'm not going to sit here and go over them right now, because at the end of the day, there's too many people out there that have the wrong agendas in place, and they will take what I say and try to flip it or somehow desecrate it or misuse it and abuse it, and next thing you know, it don't make no sense. So I'm going to only share these solutions and things with a very small elect few people. If you're interested in becoming a part of that inner circle, inbox me with the quotes inner circle, okay, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, I just really wanted to get on here. Hi, the Real Funk Munch. I just wanted to get on here and basically speak what was on my heart and in my mind at the moment when it comes to this whole election thing, because we got to stop fooling ourselves and thinking that anybody is coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. The only way you're going to be able to save yourself now is if you take the necessary steps to at least do what you can to preserve the little remnant of some type of law and order that we have under the current Constitution and things, because we can always address that later. We can't address nothing if we allow people to take over that. Again, we don't have that charter and agreement with them, and they're one of their first their first things that they're probably going to do is probably do some type of martial law thing, because they have to shut everything down so they can revamp the things the way they want to. And with martial law, you guys, you already know, it don't matter if you a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman, they're going to treat you like a little child, and they're going to basically do it at gunpoint. You don't have to take my word for it. Look up what martial law means, okay? Anybody who tries to fight, they're going to take out immediately and disarm. Why do you think they've taken away people's ability to protect themselves? People think that they're safe because somehow they believe that the current protection that we have is on their side, and the truth is they're not on. They're on the side of whomever is giving the orders. Anybody in a position where they take orders from a higher up and they follow or listen to that higher up, no matter whether they feel in their heart it's right or not, you definitely don't want those types of people thinking that they're here for your protection, because they're not. They're here to take orders. They're here to serve their masters, right, and protect their masters. They're here to serve and protect their masters, the people who pay their bills. Who do you think pays their bills? Whether it's the local, the county, the federal, all of these different militias, because that's all they are. Anybody who walks around with a gun is a part of a militia, especially if they have like an organized type of scenario. They can call it whatever. In our country, the way things have been set up throughout the government is, you have the president, then you have the governors, then you have the mayors, and then you have, all of the little representatives, right? Guess who is under the mayor? If you didn't know this, the police departments are all under the direction of the mayors. So when you have corruption in these particular agencies, it all falls back on the mayor of that town, because the mayor is the one who instructs them. You may not have known that, but if you do a little research, or if you actually paid attention in school, because all I did was pay attention. And my thing is this right here. We already know that public schools were created in such a way to misinform us and mix us up and throw us all off the real track, right? But at the end of the day, I'll go off of the stuff that they said. So if we just go off of the stuff that they've taught us about their history, whoa, we don't have to ask no questions. You don't have to be like, oh, I don't know, that don't sound like them. They would never do that. But yet, historically, their stories tell us that they do that and have done that and been doing that forever. It don't make no sense that people are that, blissfully ignorant. But anyways, so if you want any type of change when it comes to the local militias, aka the police departments, you have to start with the mayor. And if the mayor is not in alignment with what he's supposed to be doing, or she's supposed to be doing based off of their particular, what's the word I'm looking for? Their duties that they swear an oath of office to uphold. If they're not doing that, then they're supposed to be held accountable. But who holds these people accountable? If they're all homeboys and homegirls and they all in the same club, they're not going to hold each other accountable, because that's why they have a club. We, as the people who are allowing ourselves and our communities to be governed by these peoples and ran by these peoples, we're supposed to hold them accountable. And we can't do that if we're sitting here turning a blind eye while the representatives of these particular organizations are terrorizing the citizens or the people. I don't even think that people of color who are identified as so-called Black Americans should even identify themselves as a citizen of the United States. And the reason why I say that is because they have not been protecting us. If you have citizens and yet you're not protecting your citizens, why would those citizens have an allegiance to you? If we went somewhere and they said, listen, if you come and live on our land, we'll protect you, you'll get the same rights and things of that nature, and you'll be able to get land and things of that nature if you basically join us. And then as soon as we go in there, they start attacking us, you think we're going to stick around? If we haven't all gotten taken out already, we're going to probably get up and leave, or figure out a way how to get them off of us, right? I'm just saying, why is it that we are allowing these types of things to continue, knowing that it's not getting any better, and even worse, it's happening more and more, and they don't care. They literally walk around with body cams to record them doing the atrocities that they do to humans. And I don't care what nobody say. If you are if you're a living, breathing soul, you are a human. If you have hue in your skin tone, you are a human. So you should be treated with decency and equality just the same, and you should be receiving equal protections under the laws that govern the lands and the people within those lands. So again, I say, if you are not being supported by the very system that's supposed to be set up to protect you and provide for you and support you, why would you sit there and continue supporting? Doesn't make sense. So maybe we should get an allegiance to ourselves. Maybe we should be thinking about how, we can link up and come up with a way to protect ourselves, because at the end of the day, we don't have a choice. We have to. And it's easy to pick us off if we are individuals. If we are separated, from one another, who's going to protect us when they're coming individually and picking us off? And they come in drones. You already know they're not going to attack us one-on-one, because they know that we have the ability to at least protect ourselves on one-on-one with somebody. You know what I'm saying? But what they're going to do is they're going to come in groups. They might not even send groups. They might send robots and machines to take you out. That way they don't have to be caught in the fire at all. Think about it. Those peoples who have control over military and the weaponry that the military controls, what makes you think they won't turn them guns inward and take anybody out that they want to within the lands? What make you think that won't happen? I'm just saying, we gotta stop. We gotta stop this shenanigan of a game and acting like this reality is not what's going on. Again, and this is all based off of what we see that's projected to us. If you just look around your neighborhoods, though, and your environment, if those types of things aren't happening where you feel like you're unsafe and you feel like you're unprotected, if that's not happening where you live, okay. But think about this once again. The whole country is going to be ran by non-American citizens. Let me say that again. The whole country, anything that's under the jurisdiction of the United States, will be ruled by those who have no allegiance to the United States. I don't care how long they've been working here. They ain't that let's just say we go back to 200 years. Let's say we go back 200 years. I'm sure that all of the people that are on the roster in the the United States elections, I'm sure their families weren't here at that time. That's all I'm saying. So again, the newer and newer people who are coming here should not have a means or a ways to even get into a system that they can actually take over and control that easily and that fast. I'm just saying. How about we vote for self-government? How about we govern ourselves? I know there's a lot of people out there who can't get with that because they can't control their impulses, and they have anger issues and things of that nature. But I feel that if you don't have the option to have a good solid leader in place that's going to make sure things get done right, then work on leading yourself. Stop sitting here looking for somebody else to lead you. Maybe you should work on you, as opposed to going, oh, I'm just going to leave it in the hands of that person or being over there. They'll know what to do. How about no? If you do that, you're literally saying, I give my life to you. I submit my life to you to control and take over. And then you wonder why the things happen to you the way they happen to you. Think about it. These are my particular takes on things. This is how I've come to, learn and acknowledge and things of that nature and comprehend. I'm not saying that my way of thinking is the 100% right way of thinking, because somebody will come on and figure out a way how to speak against what I'm saying as if I'm saying something wrong. I'm not speaking hate. I'm not speaking rioting or war or any of those things. I'm speaking about self-governing. How about, protecting what you already have, as opposed to expecting someone else to do it? Because as you can see, those who are supposed to be here to serve and protect, they are the very ones who are antagonizing and attacking low income or the very peoples that they're supposed to be sworn to protect, right? But again, if you haven't figured it out by now, those peoples are nothing but hate mongers who have organized to be able to continue their agenda of harassing and harming the darker skinned peoples in the United States, because they just have a great disdain for that particular color. I don't know why, other than that's their program. If you know anything about the body, there's red blood cells and there's white blood cells. Now in our body, believe it or not, these particular blood cells have two different functions. One provides life and one is meant to kill. The white blood cells are meant to kill and attack. I don't know, you guys, it might be a correlation there. I'm just saying. Red represents life. We got red blood, when we get cut, blood come out as red, right? So, if white blood cells were created to attack foreign things that not supposed to be in the body, they're created with the intention of killing off bad invaders. So, think about that in correlation with people. If the people who are doing all of the terrorizing and killing have the same color as white blood cells, I'm just saying that could just be their function. And if that's the case, you can't deprogram something that is programmed specifically for that particular task if it's not human. Humans, we have what's called the gene of compassion, which keeps us, a little bit more balanced in our thinking, where we're not doing things that are inhumane. When you got peoples who can do inhumane type things, it's probably because they are lacking that gene for compassion. Remember the movie The Compassion of Christ? That movie had nothing to do with religion. The Passion of Christ means the compassion of the human body, the ability to have compassion and empathy for life, for humankind, for people, right? But people didn't get that. They missed it. They so busy caught up in the religion thing. At the end of the day, you have to have compassion for your own life, your Christ, your body. Christ means body. Why do you think people in church want to eat the body of Christ? That cannibalistic stuff that they practice on the first Sunday of every month and drinking blood. That's vampirism and cannibalism, okay? When you when you make it a practice every month, a ritualistic practice to eat of the body, the flesh, and drink of the blood, symbolizing the flesh and the blood of the very being that was sent by God to save mankind or the human race. Now you're sitting here partaking and eating its body and drinking its blood like the vampires. Are you kidding me? Again, it's not about hate or spreading anything that's not true. This is real factual stuff I'm speaking of. I grew up in that community, so I know what it is. And you're not going to tell me that there's a justification ever where you're talking about eating of something that reminds you of somebody else's body and drinking something that reminds you of somebody else's blood. That's crazy. Okay? As a child, I didn't know any better. It tasted like grape juice and a piece of little cracker. So I didn't think twice. But it's the symbolism behind it, you guys. As adults, we have to think as adults and not as children. Okay? What are we following? What are we listening to? What are we adhering to? What are we ascribing to? Are we following something that actually is against us in life? If we're celebrating death, right? You walk around with the body of a hung man on your neck, calling it, oh, that's Jesus on the cross. He died for us. You're walking around talking about, oh, I'm giving reverence to that. But that being was hung on a tree that was carved out and shaped like a cross. Why would you want to sit here and be remembering of that? If you're going to sit and wear something that reminds you of somebody else being hung up and strung up on a tree and killed, what does that say about you mentally, right? You should be celebrating life, not celebrating death. That's all I'm saying. Once again, I'm not saying any of this to attack anybody's belief system. I'm just saying we have to think as adults versus allowing our child mindset to rule how we are thinking in our adult ages. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Anyways, you guys, I just came on here to get my little rant. It's time for me to go and get my walk-in with my girlfriend. And, we're trying to stay fit and trim because at the end of the day, we got to take care of our avatars, our Christs, our bodies, our temples. Okay? Peace, love, and light. Thank you again. And I wish you all love and light.